Well, let's speak to our very own Brian Carney, who would have played against Rob, who would have known Rob Burrow. Brian, thank you very much indeed for being with us on what is an incredibly sad day, not just for rugby league, for sport as a whole. Can you put into words your emotions at the moment?
Well, Rob, much like everyone there in Sky Sports News, I'd firstly like to offer my condolences to Lindsay, the girls, to Jackson, to Rob's parents and Rob's siblings, his friends, extended family, and everybody that knew and was touched by this beautiful human being. When I heard the news and I reflected on probably the life of Rob Burrow and the time I knew him, having played with him at an international level and against him at club level, people may naturally break it up into a playing career and then a career, or a life, I should say, post MND diagnosis. And there are two very different parts of Rob's life: an incredible rugby league career, and all the tributes that you've played out so far would reference the stature, the physical stature of this man who played amongst giants and excelled amongst giants. And then his approach to life post his MND diagnosis, how he did take it on. Same he approached his rugby league career. What you have in Rob Burrow's life is a common thread, and the Burrow family statement touches on it. In a world of adversity, we must dare to dream. I would say in a world of adversity, Rob, we need to try and be more like the beautiful human being that Rob Burrow was. His girls will grow up, and Jackson, his son, will grow up and learn just how much people loved this human being for who he was. Not just a rugby league superstar, but a man who subsequently inspired, alongside his great friend Kevin Sinfield, millions of people. But if you ever had a chance to cross paths with Rob Burrow, you would find just a beautiful being. Look inside yourself and try and be a little bit more like Rob Burrow.
It always seems so difficult on a night like this, Brian, to find the right tone and to strike the right balance between mourning the loss of, as he said, a wonderful man, but also celebrating so many of the great things he did both on and off the field. So maybe we start by talking about him as a player and your memories of the first time you did come up against him and the qualities he held, because that list of achievements and medals from his playing career is quite something.
I saw him before I saw him play in Leeds at the time. And somebody had said, they've got this off at Leeds, he's worth having a look at. I went and watched the game. We were playing afterwards. I think it was at Hull FC at the time. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I thought he was in the wrong age group. He just looked so out of place because of his size. That's before I saw him with the ball in his hands. Then I saw, I tell you, from the times I played against Rob Burrow, and many rugby league players will say the same thing, he tortured the opposition. He really did. He was such a superb player, so difficult to lay a glove on. I mean, because of where I played on the field and Rob played on the field, thankfully, the one-on-one interactions weren't too frequent. But you are looking at a man in his rugby league career alone will be a Super League great. Leeds Rhinos great, no question about that. But certainly a great of the game of rugby league. Of that, I've got no question. This is a very special athlete who could do things on the field that few others could do.
I always remember, you always have sort of visions of players, Brian, in certain scenarios. My real sort of everlasting image of Rob is just finding a little gap where you didn't think it was there on a rugby league pitch. As you said, giants slamming into each other. And if there was that little half a yard of space, then Rob Burrow would seem to find a way to be able to wriggle through it.
You just nailed it. There wasn't a gap, though, Rob. That's the point. There wasn't no gap. No defender would think there was a gap, but Rob Burrow saw something different. And he was just a wonderful superstar of the game of rugby league, because you're absolutely right. You would tune in and you would look at the giants in the field and you go, hold on a second, what's this? And this absolute superstar would tear up a game, turn a game on its head, do something brilliant that nobody else could do. Really, nobody else in the competition could do some of the things on a rugby league field. He's rightly loved as a I had a chance to play with him, as I said, at international level. And then I got to see the character of Rob Burrow. You don't necessarily get to see that so much when you're in opposition. Of course, all his friends at Leeds Rhinos would be well aware of the personality, the human being that he was. I got to see that in international camp, and I could see why he was so loved by his teammates. I'm thinking of our colleague at Sky, Barry McDermott, at this time, an incredibly close friend of Rob, who would probably describe him as a person till today who had a twinkle in his eye. And when I met Rob for the first time, and as a teammate, I could see what Barry was talking about. He was just such a happy, personable individual. Again, I'll say it again, if we could be more like Rob Burrow, the world would certainly be a better place.